Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. I warned you guys that I'm a little bit heavy on the Kringle reviews this week, just because that is just how things have kind of shaken out for me in terms of what candles were ready for review. You guys know that I typically like to get to about at least 1/3 to half of the way through a candle before I give a dedicated review on it. And so I do apologize that it feels like the field is a little bit, one brand heavy over the last week. But like I said, it just is what it is at this point, and this is how things worked out with my schedule. So before I get any further into this review, I do like to disclose when a candle has been sent to me in PR, and that is the case with this candle, Smoke and Oak. It was sent to me from Kringle Candle for review purposes. You guys know that that does not always mean that I am going to give a glowing review for a candle. However, stay tuned to this one because I like this one, you guys. A little bit of a spoiler alert. So this candle here that I am reviewing is part of the Fall 2024 Reserve lineup. This candle was poured on August 20th, 2024. We have top notes listed as wood and smoke, mid notes of bourbon and leather, base notes of amber and fruit. So I'm going to go ahead and toss out right there the fruit note, I guess, that is listed in the base note. You guys, spoiler alert, this is my favorite fragrance from the 2024 Reserve Fall Reserve lineup. I love this scent. Now, no secret, you guys, I do tend to like some of these more boozy, what would traditionally be described as more of like a masculine type of fragrance. This is not a perfumey scent to me. This definitely has those top notes of wood and smoke. Now the smoke in here is not necessarily a smokiness coming off of like a bonfire. In fact, I think, was that the fragrance that they listed in their summer reserve? They had a candle called Bonfire, and that definitely had more of like a beach bonfire smokiness type of vibe. What I get, the smokiness vibe in here is almost more like pipe tobacco type of smoke. That's really what I smell. Now, some people that can be a turnoff. I'm not talking about cigarette smoke. I don't like cigarette smoke, but every once in a while, I like the smell of a good pipe tobacco. And I feel like that's what I'm smelling in here, with a little bit of wood on the top note. But really what balances this fragrance out so beautifully is the slight hint of sweet booziness from the bourbon. Now the booziness in here, or the bourbon note in here, is very different than the bourbon note that I pick up in Bourbon Bonfire, which was part of the 2023 fall collection from Kringle. That is also another fragrance that I like, but that has a little bit more of like a sweetness, almost maybe like some rum mixed in it. And I don't detect as much smokiness in that fragrance. This candle to me is just a lot more sophisticated. Very similar to, I call this type of candle, this fragrance family, I like to call them like James Bond type of fragrances. I smell this and I think of a very sophisticated, well-dressed, like James Bond. Like that's what I think of when I smell this. I picture a man, maybe smoking a pipe, and he's got his, his bourbon or whatever, some type of hard liquor in a clear glass next to him, sipping on that. That is definitely the vibe that I pick up from this fragrance. And that mid note of leather is in here. Now, however, the leather is not like, it's not like leather when you're getting into a car, or like in the community I live in, there's a lot of like horse people. It's not the leather that I detect when I walk into some of the stores that have a lot of like saddles, or it's not that type of leather. Maybe more almost like a white leather or something like that. The leather note is kind of similar to the one that was in last year's Father Christmas. Oh man, this is just, every time I pull this candle out of my collection to burn, I just think, oh my gosh, I wish my husband had a cologne that smelled like this, because oh my goodness, I might be crawling all over him if so, which I'm sure he wouldn't complain about. But oh my goodness, this just smells so good. I do think that there is a little bit of a base note of amber in here, might lend a little bit of perfuminess to it, or maybe a little bit of warmth. But to me, you guys, like I said, the main notes that I pick up are the wood, the smoke, the bourbon, and the leather, and they're just blended beautifully in all together. So let's go ahead and talk about the performance of this candle. You can see I'm at about the halfway point here. Like I said, I tried to get to the halfway point, and that's why sometimes getting these reviews out with these Kringle large tumblers takes a little bit of more time, because I do want to make sure that I'm giving an accurate review for all of you guys. So this fragrance, kind of similar to another candle that I have reviewed that is like kind of in this wheelhouse. I have found that this is a fragrance that it takes a little while for it to get going, meaning about the first hour that I am burning this candle, I really don't detect it very strongly. It's a fragrance that I initially, when I lit this, I thought, darn, I really want this one to be a nice, strong fragrance for me. However, the longer that I let this candle burn, I do notice that it starts to throw a lot more, but again, it's not going to be a smack you in the face type of fragrance. Now, I don't know when, I've been doing a little bit of batch filming here, and I do think that I will have this other review up, but prior to this one. So I mentioned in the review for the Halloween candle Thirst that that is also a very like potent, kind of sophisticated. They're both like in a similar fragrance family, although they are different fragrances. They are definitely in that kind of, like I said, sophisticated gentleman type of fragrance. Family, I just use that word a lot, or that phrase a lot, but that's the best way that I can describe it. And I also said with that fragrance that it takes a little bit of time to get going, and it's also a scent that if it were so strong that it were smack you in the face, I think it would take away from the sophistication and the beauty that this blend is. And that's how I feel about this one too. So I would say that the strength and throw of this candle, the strength of this candle is somewhere around like a 6.5, 7, but the throw on this one, once it gets going, like once I hit like the 2-hour mark, this is about a throw of about an 8. I can definitely smell it all throughout the open concept. I can smell it going into my kitchen. It doesn't wrap around into the bedrooms, which is totally fine. However, I will say that the reason why I think the strength of this candle is perfect is that even though the throw is really good, when I put this candle in my bedroom, because let's face it, this is a great like evening type of fragrance if you're wanting to set the mood or anything like that. When I place this candle in my bedroom, it's not overwhelming. It doesn't take away, like it, some fragrances, if they're too strong and you put them in a smaller room, they become almost headache inducing, or they're just too much. And then you're like, okay, I've got to burn this one in more of an open concept, or vice versa. Sometimes it doesn't perform well in an open concept and you need to move it into a smaller room. I feel like this candle performs well in both of those settings, which is always a good thing because we always want to be able to not have to burn our candles, in kind of particular settings. I guess we want to be able to have some versatility. So this candle is performing pretty decently for me. I do always mention that if you are unfamiliar with the layout of my home or the environmental factors, please feel free to check out the description box because I do list that down there. You do always want to take that into account when you're hearing somebody's review on the performance of a candle, especially when it comes to something that is already subjective like strength and throw. Being able to compare your home to somebody else's home and their environmental factors can go a long way in determining whether or not a candle should be for you. So this candle does get 2 thumbs up for me, and you guys will actually probably see in my haul video that I am putting up next week. I love this candle so much that I went ahead and purchased a backup. That is how much I really enjoyed this fragrance. I see it being a beautiful scent that I can burn in the evenings year round. It's not limited to this time of year, although it does amplify. I feel like it fits the mood a little bit more when the weather is a little bit chillier out, but I feel like year round, this is a really nice fragrance. It also pairs really nicely. I know that this particular fragrance is currently sold out, but if you have Skull and Sonnet in your collection, this fragrance does pair really nicely with that fragrance from the Halloween lineup. I do have 2 backups of that candle. So I'm definitely glad that, I can continue to burn that pairing together. It also goes really nicely with Warm and Toasty. If you have that candle from the regular fall collection, it's a really nice pairing. So overall, you guys, very, very happy with this candle. It is still currently in stock on the Kringle website, and I do have a discount code with them. It is Katie15. It will save you 15% off of your purchase with Kringle. But yeah, you guys, I'm really, really happy with this one. So feel free to comment down below if you have purchased this candle, what your experience has been. Feel free to hit thumbs up on this video if you found it helpful or useful. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new and you enjoy candle content. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.